Most men do not realize the calendar itself is costing them financial progress. Most men don't fall behind financially because they lack income. They fall behind because their money is constantly interrupted, not by emergencies, by celebrations. Every month there's something: a holiday, a birthday, a cookout, a gathering, a party, something that quietly says, spend. Individually, none of these look dangerous. A jersey here, dinner there, drinks with friends, a birthday gift, party food. It feels normal because everyone around you is doing it. It feels earned because you work hard. It feels small because it's never one big purchase. But stacked together, it becomes structural damage. Because most men budget for bills, but they don't budget for celebration. So the money comes from savings, credit cards, overtime checks, or future paychecks, which means progress gets paused every single month. Now listen to the calendar slowly. January brings New Year spending. February brings Valentine's Day. March and April carry spring events and Easter. May brings Mother's Day. June carries Father's Day and family gatherings. July brings 4th of July cookouts, trips and celebrations. August brings back to school costs. October brings Halloween events. November carries Thanksgiving into Black Friday spending. December closes the year with Christmas and New Year's. There is no recovery window, just spending cycles. And sports culture adds another layer for men. Because it's not just watching the game, it's tickets, bars, food, merchandise, subscriptions, betting. Loyalty gets monetized. Emotion gets monetized. Tribal identity gets monetized. So a man can be disciplined with bills, but still financially stuck, because celebration spending never gets audited. But there's another layer most men overlook: relationships. Celebration culture is emotionally driven, and women naturally lean into emotional moments. Holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, family gatherings. These moments carry emotional weight, so spending becomes tied to love, effort, and care. Which means if a man lacks structure, he spends reactively, not intentionally, because he doesn't want to look cheap. He doesn't want conflict, he doesn't want to disappoint, so he spends to maintain emotional peace. And that cost builds quietly, especially in long-term relationships or marriage. Because the calendar doesn't slow down, it speeds up. But there's another side too. Men who date multiple women, or juggle multiple situations. They step into a different spending trap. Because now celebration multiplies. Multiple birthdays, multiple Valentine's expectations, multiple dinners, multiple outings, multiple just because moments. So what looks like social freedom becomes financial leakage, because attention costs money, access costs money, impressing costs money, maintaining multiple emotional connections costs money. So whether a man is committed or casually dating, celebration spending still applies pressure, just in different forms. Here's the part most men don't notice. Celebrations reset momentum. You pay debt for 3 weeks, then a birthday hits. You build savings for 2 months, then Mother's Day shows up. You get ahead. Then 4th of July turns into just one weekend. You recover. Then Thanksgiving turns into a spending season. So progress looks like movement. But financially it's neutral. Or worse, reverse. There's another mindset that shows up here. Someone always says, "We could die tomorrow, so I'm living today." And that statement is true. Life isn't guaranteed, time isn't promised, tomorrow isn't owed. But it's also emotional, because it's usually used to justify financial self-damage. not intentional living. Most people don't say, "We could die tomorrow, so I'm building security today." They say, "We could die tomorrow, so I'm spending today." Notice the difference. One builds stability. The other builds instability. The counterweight doesn't ignore mortality, it respects it. Because if life is uncertain, financial protection matters more, not less. If tomorrow isn't promised, debt becomes more dangerous, not more acceptable. If time is limited, wasting financial momentum becomes more costly, not less. So the mindset shifts. Instead of, "We could die tomorrow, so spend," it becomes, "We could die tomorrow, so build." Because living fully isn't just experiences. It's security. It's freedom. It's knowing your family is protected if you're gone. Enjoy moments, but don't use mortality as an excuse to stay financially fragile. Because dying tomorrow is possible, but living broke for decades is far more likely. So the real question isn't whether tomorrow is guaranteed. The question is, if tomorrow comes, will your finances be stable or stressed? That answer gets built today, not celebrated away. And if you really want to get ahead, there's a phase most people avoid talking about, the lock-in phase, where you miss things, birthdays, game nights, trips, cookouts, watch parties, holiday gatherings. Not because you don't care, because you're building. Most people try to balance celebration while fixing their finances, so they move slow. Because every celebration delays progress. Every outing stretches the timeline. Every "just this once" adds months to the plan. But the counterweight understands something deeper. Isolation is temporary. Stability is permanent. So during certain seasons, you disappear. Not forever. Just long enough to stabilize your foundation. Because it's easier to celebrate freely later than to celebrate constantly now while staying financially stuck. Most people fear missing moments, but they don't fear missing freedom. So they stay visible socially, while staying invisible financially. The counterweight flips it. You go quiet socially, so you can become powerful financially. And when the lock-in phase ends, you don't just attend celebrations, you attend them without financial pressure, without debt, without recovery periods. So yes, if you really want to get ahead, there will be seasons where you miss almost everything. But what you gain in exchange is momentum most people never experience. And once momentum compounds, you don't have to disappear again. Because by that point, life is more structured. Your bills are handled. Your debt is lower or gone. You have savings set aside. You're not starting from zero anymore. So celebrations don't hit the same. They don't reset progress. They don't create stress. Earlier in life, one holiday could set you back. One birthday could slow you down. One emergency could throw everything off. But once your foundation is built, interruptions lose power. You're no longer trying to get stable. You already are. So you don't need isolation anymore to maintain progress. Progress holds itself. The lock-in phase was temporary. It was never meant to last forever. It was just long enough to build stability. And once stability is built, you can show up again, without falling behind financially. That's why you don't have to disappear again. No hype, no guilt, just awareness.